It's a beautiful Wednesday. Thank you so much for joining us. This is the Mid-Morning Pack. You're watching MBCI TV. It's good to have you. This is your weekly program where we bring you detailed discussion and conversation on weighty matters happening in our society, in the country. And it's good to see you, Kagi, today.
Yes, good morning. And how are you, dear viewer, wherever you are? And welcome to the Mid-Morning Pack. As usual, we are here to bring you more on the issues that has been happening in our country for the last 1 week. And I hope you are there for us this morning.
Good. And of course, we've been having quite a rigorous week, quite a busy week. Kagi, this weekend we had a safari rally in the county of Nakuru. I guess you were able to attend?
Yeah, I didn't attend per se,
yes,
but I had an opportunity to be able to experience the madness of our roads. I was traveling to Nairobi that morning,
yes,
and what I saw I'll never forget. You know, I regretted a lot why I didn't sleep in my house,
yes,
rather than sleeping on the road. Yeah, but
I don't know why maybe they've not been in a position maybe to look into this particular matter, because now this is not the first time you're having safari rally.
Yes,
maybe there's just a way in which maybe people need to be, or maybe some planning to be done, maybe some organization maybe to be put into place, because that was quite a nightmare for so many people, because I'm told it extended almost to 12 hours. Actually, people slept on the road.
Yeah, there was a guy whom I was seeing him from Nakuru heading to Nairobi around I think 10 p.m. And he was to be in Nairobi around midday, but he called me the following day at midday, yes, that now I'm in Nairobi. 24 hours. 24 hours later on. Yeah, nevertheless, it was a good activity. I think it is something that as Kenyans we need to be proud of, and also maybe to see what is it that maybe can be done even to improve, because even economically, I believe it's a major plus for the country, and even in the county of Nakuru. Yes, it is not the first time that Kenya is experiencing or having the safari rally. Many years back, when the tarmac roads were very few, I remember safari rallies were hovering around the villages,
yes, and
I could recall very clearly how I used to enjoy seeing those safari rallies in the villages. We used to wait for them, but because of a change of things, insecurity, even our roads, they are now confined in Naivasha.
Right.
Something must be done to be able to accommodate more people to go and see the event, and more so to check on the transport of our people, and also the Nakuru-Nairobi highway must be rechecked. You know, it is not even the first time that we're experiencing such kind of a snare on our roads. I remember even when we had a problem with Nakuru, I think Narok Road,
yes,
there was such a problem whereby all the vehicles were directed on this highway. And once all the vehicles are brought on one road, we experience a very inconveniencing situation, which affects a lot of people. And I think something must be done for now, Mangicho, to be able to come up with a solid and lasting solution regarding to this Nakuru-Nairobi Kisumu highway.
Exactly. I think the Ministry of Roads and Transport, that is maybe one of the agendas that maybe it needs to look into, even as we prepare for next year's another episode of Safari Rally. So much for that. And today, our dear viewer, we have a very great program for you. And I know most of our viewers today are at home, today being a public holiday that was announced yesterday by the Cabinet Secretary for Internal Security. And maybe for so many people, actually, it caught them unawares. But I believe that most of our viewers today are at home. Today, we want to put our focus on the county assemblies, and quite a number of county assemblies, I think almost 20 or maybe slightly more than 20, have shut down the assemblies. The reason being they are advocating for salary increment, salary and allowances increment, and we are wondering how is this going to affect operations at the county assemblies? What kind of effect is this going to have in our 47 counties? And we know that county assemblies are very pertinent, they are very imperative as much or as far as devolution is concerned. Now, are these cries by members of county assemblies, are they valid? Are they legitimate? Is this increment legitimate? This is what we want to discuss today. And we are also going to have a guest later on. We shall introduce him. This is the member of County Assembly for Naivasha East, that is Honorable Stanley Karanja, who will be with us here in a while to help us understand what is it that really made them to shut down their County Assembly, and what are some of the genuine concerns they have as far as their plight is concerned and even devolution is concerned. We'll be joining him at in a little while to put this particular matter into perspectives, and also looking at county budgets which are now in limbo because of this particular, or because of this grandstanding between maybe the SRC and also members of the County Assembly. So you can begin to tune in for that, or to expect that. And of course, as usual, we want you to interact with us. We want you to also give us your opinions, give us your feelings, give us your thoughts about this. And that is why we have a question that we've prepared for you, which would also like you to join us, or to actually give us your contribution. And we're asking you, do you support MCA's push for salary and allowances increment? Do you support MCA's push for salary and allowances increment? If you're supporting, you can tell us why you think they need, or why they deserve this particular increment. And if you oppose, why do you think you have that kind of a position? Give us those particular thoughts in our social media platform. For Facebook, that is MBCI TV, we are live, and also YouTube, MBCI TV official. And of course, you can also join us in our shortcut platform, that is 23814. Give us your comments on this, and of course, we'll appreciate to also hear what are some of your perspectives as far as this particular subject is concerned. But before we get into that, Kagi, quite a behavior of activities across this particular week.
Correct, and one of them is yesterday there was a comeback of the push and pull between the Azimio and the Kenya Kwanza, and yesterday, where the meeting held at Kamukunji grounds by the Azimio, called on the tax boycott, return of protest, and civil disobedience, something which was condemned by their counterpart from the other side of the government, that is the Kenya Kwanza. And one of the things they declared yesterday is that they have cut off the talks between the Kenya Kwanza and the Azimio, which were meant to be able to bring to a solution some of the differences between the two camps. And the Kenya Kwanza team, which was participating in the talks yesterday, really called on the Azimio to come back for the talks, which has been halted for some weeks. What the Kenya Kwanza are saying is due to the many activities in Parliament. And they say if the Azimio, which has already declared they have pulled out of the talks, if they are not going to come back to talks, which has been called on again on Tuesday, then they are ready to be able to allow the constitution of the IEBC. And yesterday, the Azimio, led by Raila Odinga, really called on the public to be able to participate in maybe what they call to be able to deny the government an opportunity to be able to run its activities, especially due to the signing of the Financial Bill 2023 by His Excellency President William Ruto. And other things they have said is to public to start walking. I don't know how effective is this, that one of the things you can be able to do, Mangicho, yes, is to start walking other than using matatus going to work. Okay. You can be able to give 2 or 3 people a lift when coming to work, as one of the ways to be able to deny government that cash which is coming from the fuel levy. Yeah?
And of course, those are okay, there are genuine concerns about this particular finance bill, and I know this is a subject that we've even actually been handling quite extensively in this particular program.
Yes.
And maybe for so many people, it was just a matter of wait and see, because if you were to look, or if you were to consider the kind of balancing of numbers in the National Assembly, it was expected that this particular bill would pass, because at the end of the day, Kenya Kwanza has the largest numbers. Now, maybe most people would have also maybe expected that Azimio would maybe in a particular way or the other think of other maybe other avenues, or maybe even other strategies that they would use. Now, I don't know how effective some of these strategies that maybe Azimio and their leader Raila Odinga have proposed, I don't know how effective they are going to be. of course, when you are going back to the issue of Maandamano, and of course, people have really been seeing what the effect of Maandamano has been. When you're asking people, or when you are urging people maybe not to pay tax, now now this is no longer a bill; it's actually a law. I don't know what are some of the chances that maybe this kind of or maybe this kind of appeal that Azimio has to the county, I don't know how effective it's going to be.
Yeah, some of them are not really effective, according to me. For example, if you tell people to start walking to work, unless they are so much determined to be able to push this matter, it becomes very, very, very difficult.
Yes.
And the Maandamano issue, as you can be able to recall, the last time Azimio called for Maandamano, there was no much attention regarding to Maandamano, but we will wait and see whether the Sabasaba, you remember the so-called Sabasaba?
Yes.
If it is going to attract many people regarding to that. But more so, I think by the look of things, Raila has lost his numbers in both Parliament, that is National Assembly, and also at the Senate. If you look at the way they passed the motion to be able to impeach the deputy governor from Siaya,
yes,
you can see that he has really lost a huge number of senators. When numbers drops from 25 to 17, that is a huge drop. And therefore, I think he is trying to come back to the public after now it is evident that the parliament is no longer pushover, yes, for him to be able to push his agendas. Public, again, we'll be able to see from next week whether public are going to heed to his demands and requests to be able to support his maybe proposals.
Exactly. I think that is something that as a country we shall wait and see. And going by maybe what we saw previously during the calls for these protests or these Maandamanos, and of course they did not even take place in quite, they only took place in quite just a few maybe places, or maybe just a few cities. So maybe most Kenyans are not of the opinion that maybe that is the way to go. But which other avenue maybe can be used? Because one thing for sure, Kagi, as we know, in as much as maybe the government is saying that this finance, which is now a law, according to government, according to those who are working for the government, they are of the opinion that this is what is going to make the country better, because now it will even reduce maybe the rate of the borrowing that maybe we've seen. But of course, we've already seen Kenyans are beginning to cry that this is really going to be a major burden. We are expecting that prices of basic commodities will rise, especially after the increase of the VAT on petroleum to 16%. So definitely there are concerns. There are people are worried that even as we actually come to the month of July, we shall see basic commodities, the prices of basic commodities shooting, and also maybe even transport. So how Kenyans are going now to actually cope with this, maybe that is something else. Will we see Kenyans maybe just going through maybe very challenging times, but yet not maybe do anything about it, or maybe just persevere? And up to when? Because maybe we are suggesting that this is the way to go, but maybe after a particular time, things will come back to normalcy.
Yeah, and we are expecting to see the implementation of this law maybe in the coming 1 month.
Yes.
Looking at another matter, which is a little bit interesting, is regarding to what we call the alternative justice system. And yesterday, Chief Justice Martha Koome, during an alternative justice system conference at Tangaza University College, he called on the Kenyans to start embracing a system whereby we move from the formal judicial system, which we know, and look for an alternative ways to be able to handle some of our challenges, our legal challenges. And she was saying that there are many people who are having a challenge to be able to follow the formal legal system, which is a bit demanding if you don't have finances, or maybe because of the challenges of lawyers. And she was saying that we need now to come out and seriously to root in what she was calling the alternative justice system. Okay. And she was very categorical on reminding us the alternative justice system is not new to us. And you know, Mangicho, if there are some things that we can be able to handle them in our villages, you know, even in our traditions, there are some evils there are some legal matters we can be able to handle even before going to court.
Sure.
And you know, we are having a challenge of a few courts in our country, and we find that there are many cases which are taking too long, which could be handled using the other ways of justice system. And I believe it is a one way to be able to reduce the congestion in our court cases. There are many things, Mangicho, I believe we can be able to handle them in our locality, which don't necessarily need to go to our courts.
Exactly.
Eating a lot of time, you know, and maybe even your money, but you can be able to handle them faster and more effective on our localities.
Absolutely, and I totally concur, I totally support the embracing of some of these alternative justice systems to actually even cut on the expense and also maybe the rigorous process that we see in our courts. If people could embrace some of these other means to resolve issues, some of these conflicts, some of these disagreements, some of these maybe misunderstanding between members of the society can actually be solved, can be reconciled back at home, back maybe even in the chief's office and so on and so forth. So long as the two parties are willing and so long as the two parties are actually ready maybe to have reconciliation and also maybe to have some kind of unity, I think this is something that is very, very possible.
Yes, and finally on that is that according to the COME, the formal justice system as today is only serving 10% of those people who need some legal needs. And those who are targeted by the alternative justice system are what she was calling the poor, the marginalized, the vulnerable, or living in remote areas.
Exactly, and maybe I think at this particular point, even as we continue with the analysis, before we get into now the meat of our conversation today, I think we can introduce our guest at this particular point to also get some of his perspectives on some of the issues that we've raised before we get into our subject of discussion. And as I had mentioned, as I had promised, we have a guest today to look into the topic that we are discussing. Already, some of our county assemblies have been shut down. Reason being, members of county assemblies, they are up in arms. They want their issues, they want their welfare to be looked into. And they are accusing the SRC of not really putting into consideration some of their affairs. And we will have this particular discussion in a short while. Our guest today is the member of County Assembly for Naivasha East, that is Honorable Stanley Karenja. Karibu sana, good to have you today in this particular program.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Yes.
And how is Naivasha?
Just as usual, it is hot.
You are the home to this particular safari rally that we've been talking about.
No, I was, what do we call it? Yeah, somehow I can say I was a host.
Yes.
But not exactly. Because, you know, Naivasha East is not in town. It's outside, it's a periphery. Okay. Therefore, I was just a spectator like any other.
Like any other.
Like any other. Yes.
But in terms of the planning, in terms of the impact that is having maybe in Naivasha and maybe in Nakuru County generally, what is your analysis?
You see, I have heard you talk about jam.
Yes.
I've heard you talk
exactly.
about jam.
The traffic.
You see, what happened, I am also the chair of trade committee in the assembly. And what happened is that we did have a committee that was supposed to look into some of the issues, because you remember that though Safari Rally is a national affair, but it was centered in Nakuru. Right. Therefore, the Nakuru Assembly, the Nakuru executive ought to be part of the planning team. Therefore, what happened, we did organize a planning team that was led by the CS, some other departments, because you remember that we require fire brigade, we require medical, we required the issue of environment, though all these CCs were there. Okay. But to our astonishment is that the county government was overlooked. If at all we don't say it was ignored. Because when we went to that meeting, we met Fairness Kimathi within the secretariat, and we said that what we experienced last time, the issue of jam, crossing the town, in order for Safari Rally to be, activities to be done. And we agreed that we do an alternative route, from Kinamba. You see Kinamba? Yeah. There is a road that moves, that cuts from Kinamba, comes through Gilgil, and then after Toro Station, when you come to Girigiri town, you come up to where we have meat. This place we do have meat. Kuna barabara Kikopey.
Yes.
That barabara comes up to Kikopey. So we said, can we have this route so that we don't cross the town and we don't cause jam? You know what happened? We were ignored. Okay. We went to Nairobi. We were called to Nairobi for a meeting. We went and met now the Nababu Namwamba, the CS. And then the same arrogance did appear. We were not listened to. Therefore, the issues of alternative routes did not happen. And that's why we suffered the jam. And that's why we are saying, if a county holding all that, the one that is now in the department in the county must be made to be in charge. Such that, because who was now disenfranchised in terms of services? It was the people from Nakuru.
From Nakuru,
They started telling us, okay, you see Safari Rally, hotels will have a lot of food. Food came from Nyadaro.
So there is no way we can say that Nakuru County was directly in charge.
No, it wasn't. We were just made mere spectators. we were relegated to footnote. You know, we were just others. We were just taken as others. And that's why we are saying that next time, organizations must be made, planning and organization must be proper. The county and the governor must be involved. To your surprise is that even the hiring of the cashews was done through the MPs. It was done through the national, even the MCAs who are the hosts were never considered anyway. You see, that's why we are saying that the national government is sideline the counties. That aspect of arrogance has been projected.
But to most people who saw and watched the governor, maybe with the president and the deputy president, maybe they were very upbeat, and maybe they were very convinced that Nakuru County was very right, or maybe it was at the center of the operations.
You see, courtesy means that you do not wash your dirty
in the public.
Yes. But if you visit the governor and you visit, they will tell you that the county was really sidelined. We were not part and parcel of the organization team. We were told that it's a national issue. And therefore, the county was just another spectator. You know, it's just like when you go to a field. The field is used by the players. Are you together? The field is used. That's what happened to Nakuru. That one I can tell you for sure.
But Mheshimiwa, you're saying that you want to push for the national government to incorporate in the plans of Safari Rally, but you have already done it. What other formula are you going to use to make this more effective? You
see, we ought to have dialogue. Because, you know, when we have things like Safari Rally, there are so many things that comes. You know, after an activity happens, there is that budget. You know, there is a budget that is put aside to make sure that the facilitation goes on. Then after this budget now, we must have what is called corporate social responsibility. Because you have used Nakuru County as the host, what do we get from the event? That means there is a corporate social responsibility. We must see some roads, we must see some of these, for example, drainage, etc. Out of this budget, we must have something, even if it is 10%, set aside for that particular county, so that it can develop the sewerage system, it can develop what we are talking about, the road network. You see, so these are some of the things that we are saying must be there, including the small things of cashew laborers. So some of these things. And you remember, after now what we talked about the Safari Rally, there is the wastage in terms of garbage. You go now to Naivasha and see the hell that was left in terms of the Safari Rally. These are some of the things that we are saying. There was supposed to be money to be put into the environment department, so that now it can now bring order and sanity after the Safari Rally. So some of these things were never done.
Exactly. I think those are some of the things that really need to be looked into. And thank you so much even for bringing us those kind of perspectives, because maybe most people don't understand, or maybe they are not aware of some of the underlying issues as far as that particular activity is concerned. I know we'll be getting into our conversation or our subject, but maybe, Mheshimiwa, we'd also want maybe to get your perspectives on the passing of the finance bill. It is now a law, and most Kenyans are looking forward to very, very difficult times ahead economically.
You know, let me say that from the onset, Kenya was in a hole. You know, Kenya was already in a hole. And you remember that even when
the hole is getting deeper now.
No, what happens is that we stopped digging. Now what we are trying to do is to come out of the hole. And everybody must sacrifice. Let me take you to a historical journey and perspective of different countries and their modes of production and how they have managed to come out. When you have a new president and the mode of production and the modes of development and maybe what we can say the theories of development are not okay, what normally happens, the president that now comes in, the person in charge of the executive, must make deliberate efforts to make sure that you progress.
Even if they are painful?
Let me give you some clear analysis of what happened. If you look at, for example, let me start with, for example, Russia. Russia, during the time of Stalin, by the time Stalin was coming to office, Russia was already in a type of production that was poor, the peasant mode, okay, peasantry. And therefore what he did is that he decided that we are not now going to have this more fragmented farms. We are going to have big farms so that we increase the mode of production and agriculture, we amalgamate the land. So that the land now can be able to meet the demands of the industry. Therefore, what happened? If you had a small land, you are told to sell. If you didn't sell, then it was taken by the government. That was a policy. Yes. You know, that was a policy by then. And therefore, what happened after 5 years, they came up with a 5-year development plan. And that plan was really painful to people. But after the 5 years, and then the other 5 years, the 10 years, Russia was able now to come from the type of shaky growth, industrial growth that it was, to a competitive industrial country. That was by then. Look at what happens to China. You know, China during even the time of Mao Zedong, yes, the same thing happened. After that particular time, what they came that was a finance bill. Yes. That finance bill was supposed to move China from what it was by then, the small fragmented country, into an industrial country. And it shut down its economics so that it first of all changed the mode of production from within. Then when it came from without, it is now a country that is really but in terms of, yes. Therefore, what do I want to tell you? That for any country that is suffering economic doldrums, it must make sure that it survives. But
we have examples of countries which we've been told Kenya was at par with them, like South Korea.
That's where now I want to
like Singapore.
Let me now come to Singapore.
And they never underwent what this government.
Who told you they never underwent that?
Yes.
Let me tell you, for any country to change from one mode of production to another, there must be casualties. There must be people who are crying. Do you think that everybody in Kenya is crying because of finance bill? Yes. That's what you think? No. That's why I'm saying that for any country to be able to move, yes, to change from one mode of production, and what has happened, look at and I don't know why people are crying.
Mheshimiwa, just hold on. My director is telling me just take a short break at this particular point as we are being given some water here because this thing is getting hotter. We are coming back with much more. We are watching the Mid-Morning Pack right here on MBCI TV.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Jafford, 2 seconds, the step back for the win. I'm a 3. 2 seconds, the step back for the win. I'm a 3.
Welcome to Shirdi Trading Stores Nakuru, the hardware that delivers high quality products.
Kwa majina naitwa Pastor Wilson. Shirdi ametusaidia sana katika kazi hii ya jua kali. Material yake ni material ambayo imeweza kutuletea customer, imepata kuinua biashara yetu, ni durable katika kazi tunayofanya. Chuma kama ni ya 2x2 imejaa vizuri, na katika kufanya kazi nayo ni chuma ambazo hasitoboki. So yoyote ambaye anametamani chuma nzuri na kazi nzuri ambayo itatamanika na watu wengi, muhindi wetu ambaye anaitwa Shirit ako na haya material yake ni nzuri, bei yake ni nzuri, na customer watatamani kazi yako.
Our main distribution center and godown is located in Nakuru Industrial Area, opposite Kenya Power Depot, with a branch located at Nakuru Eldoret Highway, Shabab Roundabout, opposite Total Petrol Station. For more information, call us on 0701 600 101 or 0711 600 101 or 0735 600 101.
As you enter a new phase of life, trust Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies (RVIBS) to shape your dreams by giving you knowledge, skills, and the confidence to succeed. A career in engineering, information communication technology, health and applied sciences, journalism and media, hospitality, cosmetology, and many more. Secure yourself an opportunity to invent and reinvent by enrolling at RVIBS, a formidable transformational force in higher education. Enroll for July intake by visiting join.rvibs.ac.ke or visit our main campus at Nakuru Railways, next to Railways Police Station or Biashara Center, 3rd floor. You can also call us on 0715 111 101 or 0715 111 102.
My name is Pasi Wangeshi Kibumba Mrs. I am the principal, Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies. You're welcome to study with us.
Rift Valley Institute of Business Studies, for all your technical training needs.
MBCI Television, transforming lives.
Welcome back to the program, The Mid-Morning Park, right here on MBCI TV. What a conversation we are having today in this particular platform, and thank you so much for joining us. Our discussion is the state or the status of our county assemblies in the country, and quite a number of them have been shut down. Reason, the guest that we are having here is actually helping me to make some clarification that it is not the increment that they want, but the reinstatement of their initial salary. I know we'll be getting into that, the nitty-gritty of that particular conversation in a little while. Our guest today is Honorable Stanley Karanja. He's a member of County Assembly for Naivasha East, and he'll be here and he'll be giving us some of the details as far as that particular discussion is concerned. But before we get into that, remember our question is the question that we want you to also contribute in this particular discussion so that we can also get your perspectives on the same. Do you support the reinstatement? Let me not say the increase, but the reinstatement of a member of county assembly salaries. Do you support? You can continue giving us your opinion, your perspectives on the same. Catch us live on our Facebook page, that is MBCI TV, and also YouTube, that is MBCI TV Official, our shortcut platform, that is 23814. And of course, we'll be glad to also see or to also hear what are some of your contributions on this particular subject. Before we get into that, Mheshimiwa, you are talking about the road to the finance law.
Yes.
And you're trying to help us understand.
You asked
why
something
this was the way to go.
We were together with the tiger countries,
yes,
including Singapore.
Right.
And what has happened is that by the time Kenya was getting independence, by the time we were getting independent, that is 1963, take it from 1963. That particular time, the colonial masters had managed to put Kenya into what we call the lap of stage, the limp stage, so that we move up. And therefore what happened is that by that particular time, Kenya was now struggling with the identification crisis. Right. We were either to identify ourselves with the Soviet Union, or we identify with ourselves with the capitalist countries. And that's where now the Kenyan leaders were in a limbo. If you take a grip look at your history, Jaramogi Oginga Odinga was a socialist by that particular time, a communist philosophy. And that particular time when Kenyatta was now taken in as the prime minister and later as the president of this country, he was a capitalist because his schooling was capitalistic. Jaramogi Oginga's school of thought and theories were socialist, right. Communist, and that's why we ended up making the Nyanza Provincial Hospital. Okay. If you get that. So by the time we were taking it to the lab stage, the moving stage, the lag stage, so that we go up, we had a crisis in terms of the philosophy and the modalities of an economic aspect that we are going to take for development. Therefore, what happened? By that particular time, when Kenyatta took over, and that's why by 1965, there was a big gap between Jaramogi and the Kenyatta. One capitalist, the other socialist. And if you consider that history by that, before we came to 1975, even those people who thought that the capitalism was bad, by that particular time they had been eliminated. If you check your history very well, including those people that now are trying to midwife between Jaramogi and that is Akina Tomboya and the rest. If you take that history, it will tell you why Kenya and Singapore never matched together. And at that particular time, even China was in the same, because by 1948, okay. When China also came out from the Americans, the shackles of America. Therefore, what are we saying? That by that particular time, we bungled because the African leaders who were there were not fully independent in terms of thinking. Okay. They were tied, although the country was independent, but the thinking and the ideology was under the shackles of colonialism.
Wow, thank you so much, Mheshimiwa. And I know this is quite a huge conversation, but maybe so that we now get into the county assembly's discussion, maybe for the purposes of our viewer who is watching us and is listening to you, and of course the government is optimistic and is giving Kenyans the promise that now things will go well. Now, but what we are understanding is that as it is this now finance law, which has already been passed, is going to be burdensome. So what maybe most Kenyans are not aware, or what maybe they are not really understanding, is how is it going to turn things around for them?
My main worry even is not, because already passing of the finance bill is now water under the bridge. The bridge, yes. That one is already now a law. Exactly. The now implementation of the law, which is now the finance, because finance bill is supposed to make sure that the country gets enough resources in order for it to move forward. And it is argued, and it is, that for every 10 shillings that we are getting from the finance bill, 6.8 will go to debt servicing. Therefore, what the amount of money that we are left with, even after we have done this, that 6 shillings 80 cents, that's the debt servicing. Therefore, we are already left with 3 shillings 20 cents. For others, for other activities, including now paying the salaries, in terms of now capital expenditure, that is building the roads, etc. Therefore, what are we experiencing? That after this 1 year, after the country now gets the money, so that it will be able to come out of the doldrums. Because now what will happen is that you put the money, you pay the loans, and remember the loans are not the loan ceiling is not coming down, because the dollar, we have not tamed the dollar. Therefore, as we finance, the world economy must tame the dollar. So when we tame the dollar so that the shillings will not be weak against the dollar, yes. We are also financing that one in our finance bill. What you never borrowed, yes. You are still doing what? Paying for it. Therefore, that balancing act is the one that now Kenyans will say that it will push them. But if you look at critically, is that the amount of money that is left for you and me is very little. Therefore, after some time, and that's what we are arguing, and that's my view, that after now this year, it will be, we will have dealt a little bit with the debt servicing. Okay. So that we get some little money that will be left, so that now it will go to what is called the social capital.
So what word do you have for that Kenya who is watching you, who maybe in a week's time will not be in a position to pay his or her fare because it has already shot up? Will not be in a position maybe to buy some of the basic commodities in the supermarket.
Nobody will.
Gone up. Some of them not even maybe to cater for their power.
Realistically speaking, and we will be here. You will not hear, and you will not see, and you will not see that the vehicles, the flow of vehicles will come down. You remember there was a time that we are paying 250 for fuel, and we are queuing.
Yeah.
Were you traveling by then? Why you still full in your car? Yes, you are. So what are we saying? As that, realistically speaking,
Kenyans, you're saying Kenyans will manage the situation.
Let me tell you, if you read biology, there is the adaptation theory. So after a crisis, Kenyans will adapt. Therefore, the adaptation theory will come in. You will see that. Therefore, what if at all you are using some money elsewhere, which was not important, it will, that money now you are using, you will bring it back to cover, and that's what we call the adaptability theory.
And unfortunately, as we enter now into our conversation, you members of county assemblies, you've been unable now to adapt, and you've shut down the counties. Kenyans are so much angry with you.
No, Kenyans are not angry. I have come from Naivasha, and they are not. It is you who is angry. Let us come to the real thing, what we are talking about. Because most of the people have not been able to do what? To consume exactly what we are talking about. What are we talking about? And that's why maybe you are angry, and let now me bring your anger down. 2013, and I want to come to that so that you understand where we are.
Yes.
2013, we had a CRC circular. This was the CRC circular, reviewed the remuneration and benefits of members of county assembly. The commission sat twice. It sat on 2013 in its 36th special commissioner meeting. And then it sat on the 25th. The two sittings that it had there, it came up with what was called job evaluation for somebody called member of county assembly. Right. Therefore, the job description of a member of county assembly was reviewed by that particular time in 2013, and after that evaluation, the commission came up with a salary for a member of county assembly.
Which was?
It said that the mileage for a member of county assembly, because we start with the benefit, then we come to the salary, that it was supposed to be 109.80 cents for a kilometer that one travels. That means if at all you are in Isiolo, and your county assembly is somewhere, you are traveling like 80 kilometers. It ought to be catered for by the government, because you are a what?
Yeah,
you are a servant of the people, and you must be facilitated to go to where you need to do representation, oversight, and the rest. Therefore, it was pegged at that. Any other after 45 kilometers, that is per 45 kilometers. If you exceed 45 kilometers, then you claim that amount of money, and that was in 2013. Then the same commission, after did the evaluation, it said that the entry pay for a member of county assembly was supposed to be 123 and 750. That was supposed to be.
That is salary.
That is salary, basic salary.
That is 123,000.
123, 7. I will give you the circular, so that we are able to be together, and then you see why we are saying what we are doing. And why we are doing whatever we are doing currently. Therefore, that is 123, 750. Then there was supposed to be annual increment annually, so that it can cater for inflation and the rest. By the time a person was completing the contract of 5 years, you are supposed to be paid 165 the last.
The last year?
Yes.
Okay.
The end year, the 5th year.
The 5th year.
Therefore, when you come back, definitely you are supposed to start from 165.
165, okay.
Okay?
Or if you're elected.
No, you see, it is a renewed contract.
Yes.
You know, ours is a contract. It's a 5-year contract between us and the citizens.
The citizens can decide to terminate.
Yes, if the citizens decide to terminate, then they get another new member. Therefore, after now 5 years, that was 165. So what happened in 2017? 2017, the commission lowered the salaries and remuneration and benefits of a member of county assembly, including now the National Assembly. They went to court. When they went to court, there came this...
Who went to court? Members of National Assembly?
The members of the National Assembly.
Yeah.
So when they went to court, there was that protracted court ruling, court process. But now the salaries were reinstated back to... That's why if you see the salary of this is a 2017 one, after it came, they issued another one, the special gazette notice that reinstated the 2013. That is by 2013 and 2017, a member of county assembly was to be paid this.
Okay.
So it is said that you get your entry is 123.
And Mheshimiwa, before the court
ruling by then.
Before the court ruling, the commission had reduced it to what amount?
They had reduced, first when the assembly started, the salary of a member of a county assembly was pegged at 79. It was untenable. That's why we came up, that's why they started twice. I've already heard they started twice. They reviewed. That's when they decided that it should be like this one, 123. Then when now 2017 came, the salary was lowered. It could for all members, for all the assemblies, including the National Assembly, and the rest. Therefore, the members of the National Assembly were not happy. Therefore, when the court ruling came, it reinstated the 2013. And I want you to take the 2013. Okay. By that particular time, at that particular juncture, not only the member of county assembly, the speaker of the county assembly, the salary by 2013 was 262,500.
Yes.
It was supposed to be increased through annual increment until it came to 350.
Yes.
So if you check, the salary of a member of county assembly was 165, the 5th year, and that of a speaker was 350. The deputy speaker started with 180, and the 5th year it was supposed to be 240.
And now this is what we've been having until...
That is what we had 2013
up to 2017.
So
now from 2017?
Now let us come to where the rubber now meets the road.
The road.
Why we are doing whatever we are doing, so that people are able to, so that when they are answering your question, they are in a position to know exactly what happened. 2017, this gazette notice was on 27th July 2020, 2 weeks. Remember, election was supposed to be held on 8th. Therefore, the commission, on its own volition and its own consultation, decided now to lower the salary of a member, of county assembly, without touching the rest.
That is now in 2017.
That is now in 2022. I have told you that this was operational for the last
10 years. Sure.
Now, that particular time, 2 weeks to an election, the commission sat, and they have indicated that they sat down, they consulted themselves. It was an intrinsic type of reasoning. And then after they did that, the shock, where now we are fighting, and so that the members can get exactly what is the contentious issue with the members of county assembly. I want you to check the salary of a member of county assembly vis-a-vis that of the speaker. By that particular time, this of the speaker, they increased that one to 315. Then they said that the house allowance was supposed to be 80. And then they said that the salary adjustment rate, that that to cover inflation, was supposed to be 100 and that 210. Therefore, the speaker's salary was increased from now 350 to 525. That of the deputy speaker was raised from now what you have seen here, 240.
Yes.
By you know, now it was lowered. His was left to 216.
Okay.
By that of a county assembly member, the salary by that time, you see, the increment here, that of speaker was 262. That is the basic pay. That of now the member of county assembly was rushed to 86,625. I want you to check there. This is now our bond of contention, that you have reduced our salary by half. Then when we
from 165
to
86
to 86.
And what you members of county assemblies, what you don't know up to this particular point is why this particular commission
now
came up with this particular decision.
That's what we have now tried to look at, the scientific theory that they used to lower the salary of a member of county assembly.
But of course, they must have given some explanation.
That's when I want to come into the explanation, because we, you know, throughout we have engaged the Salary and Remuneration Commission.
Yes.
The first error that they did, they thought, without consultation, that the member of county assembly is employed by the assembly board, such that they ramped the member of county assembly together with the clerks, together with the watchmen, you know, and they said that I am an employee
of the public service
of the not public service board, of the county assembly service board. Now, what is the county assembly service board? The county assembly service board has two MCAs, because after we come, the majority party and the minority party picks a member. Therefore, by the time we are coming in, there is no county assembly service board. So it is us now that creates the service board.
The service board, sure.
So we have two members from outside. We have the clerk, and then we have the speaker. Who elects the speaker? The same members. Therefore, after that election, then we create the county assembly service board. And what is the role of the service board? It is to make sure that the operations of the county goes on smoothly.
Exactly.
Therefore, they thought that we are employee of a body that we have created.
Yes.
And that has now been the board of contention. Therefore, they have juxtaposed the MCA and the other workers. Therefore, if at all you are a principal secretary, you will be paid more because of service. Okay? Therefore, they place the member of county assembly in job group D, the job of status.
And who is your employer, per se?
My employer is the 190.
Just
I've been employed by the 190.
Just like the member of National Assembly.
Just like the member of the National Assembly, just like the president, just like the senator. Therefore, the SRC decided to close its thinking potentiality, okay, and reduced it to ensure that an MCA does not go through the same process as the member.
So you said the members of the county assembly board, they are in job group?
Now let me come to where now we are. You know, it is good that when we are, we are arguing with the facts, and that's where whatever we are doing is justified. Higher. The member of county assembly, I have given you the job, current job grade, and what we are proposing. Because now we are proposing that the member of a county assembly is job group D4. A starter. That means that you do not have a diploma, you do not have a degree, you are like that. You are a Form 4 who has decided to get to, you have started that's the entry. Okay? Now I'm here. In actual sense, you are in a better job group than I. So we have been placed in job group 4. Then, if you look at that one, if you go until you go to the speaker is in job group E4. Now the speaker, that salary that the speaker is earning is a salary of E4. And therefore we are saying that whoever gave the job description gave it from a point of vacuum, without consideration and without doing a proper job description. And that's why we are saying that they ought to have referred to that circular of 2013 as the premises of argument. So the basis of argument ought to be 2013, So that they come to 2017, so that when the Shirin has proclaimed against the DORA, you are able now to place the role of the MCA and the job group of an MCA. That's why we have said that the job description of an MCA was erroneously placed at the status job group D, other than job group E2.
Yeah, as Mheshimiwa you continue,
yes,
I can recall the issue of the SRC with the National Assembly. They had proposed also to cut down the salaries of members of parliament.
Yes.
And along the way, it didn't carry the day. But my question is, where is the difference that you are under the same body which is managing your salaries, but members of parliament were able to retain their salary, but MCAs were not able to do that? What happened?
Good question. I think you have read the Animal Farm, where some animals are more equal than others. So when now you come to members of parliament, they are the ones that sets the ceilings of each and every constitutional office. The budget comes through the National Assembly. Okay. It means when you fight the National Assembly, they cut down your what? Your budget.
Even the SRC.
That's what happened to
the commission itself will find itself
in trouble. The commission, the traveling allowances for the commissioners was slashed. And that's why they came to understanding that, oh, Kube, although we are an independent commission, whoever now controls the finances is your boss. And that's why they were able to come into terms. And then they instituted. They have agreed. Number two, National Assembly and I want you to get this one, that both the National Assembly and the Senate, they have got a welfare association called the Parliamentary Service Commission, which is also a constitutional commission. What happened? The Constitutional Commission leverages, whatever they are. Whatever they are, you cannot now suppress a member of National Assembly or the senator because there is a body that makes sure that they are not oppressed. And that body also has a member as a commissioner in the CRC. So you see, what happened to Assembly? Assembly members of the county assemblies, because there are 47 entities, they have no owner, and therefore they have been left like that. And the person now who was supposed to leverage that is supposed to be the person in charge of devolution. Last time, it was Eugene Wamalwa. Yeah. This time, ironically this time, it is now the deputy president who is now in charge of devolution. And that's why we are saying that if the government sees it fit, because you cannot call the deputy president, you cannot summon the deputy president. He is in the presidency.
Yes.
So that's why we are saying that this devolution was erroneously given to a very high office. And we are saying, can it be given a CS? So that when we are angry like now, we can call the CS and so that we discuss, because he is the person in charge of the whole devolution system, the whole governance, the whole devolution entity. And therefore, that's why we are saying it ought to be given to somebody who can even be summoned by the Senate.
Just to take you a little bit back, just to take you a little bit back, Mheshimiwa. So as you speak, so this particular slashing of this particular amount was mainly just because of that particular issue of the job group, or were there other underlying reasons that the SRC gave?
The other thing is that they were not able to understand the role of an MCA. You see, what happened is that if you want to do a better job description of a member, you must first of all revisit this constitution, because it gives all the roles of a member of county assembly. And the executive, the governor, I will show you, the governor is being paid 924. And that is the person that I am supposed to oversight. With an 86,000 salary, I'm supposed to go to Governor Susan and tell her that you are not using the money well. And by that particular time, and I will show you that, because when I mention 100, maybe 86, maybe members are not getting it well. Let me expound it through my payslip, and I have some payslip. And this one I have made it public so that members can be able to understand. Now, the essence why you should not be angry and you should be sympathetic. That's where we are coming. Now, this is now my basic pay. Basic pay of I. And this one now is for all members of county assembly. Is 86,625. It is that is what the circular says. That circular, I want you to go with the circular because I will read what exactly the circular says. Rental house allowance is supposed to be 445. Responsibility allowance, because I'm a chairman of a committee, I'm a chair, I'm getting 26. If you are an MCA and you are not a chair, you will get 16. That is now where the salary now will vary. Because if you are given a responsibility and one has no. If you are vice chair, you get paid 23,000. Therefore, I'm somehow lucky, I'm paid 26 as a chairman of trade committee. Then the telephone allowance, which was put in this circular of 2013, has never changed. It has remained that even if I call all my constituency, I am going to use 5,000 per month.
Yes.
Then the salary adjustment is what you are seeing here. So you are seeing the salary adjustment, which is 12. This 12, if you compare with that of a speaker, the speaker's is 130. Mine is 12. It's as if we don't live in the same country. Yes. And we are different because of so therefore I'm paid that way. Then I will come to the car maintenance allowance. That it's the car that I got from a loan. You see, I'm also servicing a loan for the car, and also I'm servicing a loan for the mortgage. I will come to that, and then you see. Then after you are paid this one, that for car maintenance, it is come to 205, 542. That is what is supposed to be the total earnings for the member of county.
That is before deductions.
Now that's where now I'm coming in. Now I'm coming in. The member of county assembly has a loan. The car that you see these people driving is a loan, and that loan is from the assembly. Therefore, you are given a loan of 2 million, which you are supposed to service. Therefore, I have a loan with the family bank, and then I'm deducted. This is minus 44. Yes. I have a mortgage with because as a member of if you came like for example Nene, the one who had no house from element, yes, you are given a loan to build a decent house, exactly. So that you will not cause the membership of the assembly what is called pecuniary embarrassment. Yes. Wanakuja wanaona ukitoka kwa carton.
Disrepute.
Yes, that one. That's why you are given a loan. So, other than them giving you a money to buy, they give you a what? A loan that you must service. I'm deducted this amount of money. Yes. Then after that, I am a member of Democratic UDA. The UDA, because of that membership, I'm deducted 5,000. From that, I'm also deducted PSUR. Yes. This amount of money that I have earned, I am deducted 54,045. You have seen that. Yes. Then I'm deducted that of NHIF of 1,700. Total deductions, 154, 865, 96. What is my net pay as a member of county assembly? 50. From this 50, remember, I had a loan of 3 million for mortgage. But if they deduct more, they will infringe the law of the law that says that your pay slip should be 1 lakh. So they come up here with a pen and it continue deducting the ones that I had left were 16,000. Therefore, my pay is 34. Another member's pay here who is not a member, who is not a chair, is 18,000. This is now an elected member, where you will see people queuing, where you are called for harambes. This is now what we are now being subjected. I'm subjected to 34,000. Now today I came from Naivasha, Palekino. I fueled my car 6,000, so that it will bring me here and back to. That is one day. We are supposed to be in this assembly now that we are saying that we have closed. We are supposed to be in the assembly for 3 days. 3 days. And one is for the committee. Therefore, 3 days for the deliberation in the plenary. Therefore, when it is 3 times 6,000, I want you to do your mathematics. 3 times 6. For a month, it is 4 weeks. Therefore, multiply that one by 4. Then deduct from the 4,000. There is no any other money. You deduct from that. At that particular time, I'm like Jesus Christ when he was in the wilderness. I'm not eating. Neither am I taking water. Because everything is an expenditure. If you eat, And my friend, you don't come and ask me that you are mheshimiwa ninunulie chai. Then it's like that. That is the subjection that we have been subjected by the
SRC. Mheshimiwa, let's take, we want to join our reporter Vincent Kimutai, who also went to the streets and also got the opinions of some of our citizens on what they think about this row of members of county assembly salaries and also allowances. We can join our reporter, and then when we come back, Mheshimiwa, you'll tell us, because why is it that therefore that is it because there are people who have been saying also, there are people who think maybe that the members of county assemblies are not very important even as far as devolution is concerned. We've had even people who are saying let's do away with MCAs. You'll tell us about what are some of those particular roles that you're doing and why you think they are pertinent even as far as devolution is concerned. But now, Vincent Kimutai, you can take it right away.
Thank you, Mangicho Mola and Paul Kagi. And as you have said, we are here on the street to speak to Kenyans concerning the issue of MCA shutting down counties over the issue of salary. The MCA had threatened to go on strike over the decision of Salary and Remuneration Commission, SRC, to increase their salary with 10,000 shillings only. MCAs claiming that 10,000 is a little amount of money. The increment of 10,000, the salary of the MCA starting July will be 154,000 from 144,000. However, the 62,400 remain the sitting allowance of the MCAs. And here we'll be speaking to Kenyans to find out their opinions concerning the issue of MCAs putting down their tools in the county.
My name's Samson Njogu. My concerns ni kwamba one thing tuulizane ni kwa nini wanataka waongezewe. That's one point. Because they can't just wake up one morning and waseme tunataka tuongezewe. There must be a reason. Two, in as much as wanataka kuongezewa mshahara, waangalie the status of the country. Nchi yetu iko namna gani? Is it the right time? Yes, inaweza kuwa kwamba wanataka waongezewa and it is okay kuongezewa, but is it the right time? Okay? Is it the right time? Two, wajiulize, is it also important to down tools waweke waache kufanya kazi just because they are demanding for an increase ya mshahara wao? But the problem is that Kenyans tumekuwa watu wa kupenda siasa. We want to politicize everything. Mpaka mkitu kama hiyo ambayo watu wanaweza kaa chini waongee kama watu wazima. You know, we lack ile integrity. Tunakosa ile passion ya nchi. Mimi nikichaguliwa niwe MCA nataka mshahara, nataka kesho niwe somebody, nataka, you know, I'm pursuing money, not leadership. Na hapo ndio Wakenya wengi tumeangukia. Because the leaders we are electing, they are pursuing money, not leadership. Wakiingia kwa ground sasa unaona wamewachana na wananchi wanasema sasa sisi. But if what they are talking about wananchi, wasema sasa uchumi wetu uko vile ulivyo, and we all understand the situation we are in. Sisi kama MCAs tunaweza wasaidia wananchi namna gani so that they can be able to cope with this life? How can we give hope to the wananchi ambao tuko nao katika ground? How can we help them to at least wasikie kwamba licha ya kwamba tumesukumwa na uchumi, kuna watu ambao they understand our situations and now they are helping us to at least to come out of this situation. Lakini sasa sio kwamba serikali kubwa inatugonga pande hii na MCA wanagonga pande hii. In such a way kwamba wanataka sasa another budget iwekwe kwao ambayo pia itarudi kwa mwananchi wa kawaida. So those are the questions now anybody who is mature enough in this leadership anastahili kujiuliza. Because downing tools kufunga, niona kama hapa Nakuru walifunga, walisema hawaendi kazi tena mpaka waongezewe mshahara. Is that a solution? Those are the questions we should ask ourselves. Yeah, one thing, look here, there is a budget that has to take place in the counties, all over the country. Now, when they down tools, wanasema kwamba hatutafanya kazi, ni kumaanisha kwamba ile budget ya county haitapita at the right time. Hata kama itakuja kufanywa later, which means kwamba services za mwananchi katika county zimekuwa delayed. That's very important kujua. Na zikiwa delayed utapata kwamba kuna project ambazo pengine zingemalizika by the end of this budget year ya 2023-2024. Lakini ikiwa ile budget itakuwa delayed ama ile budget itakuwa delayed, by the time hizi pesa utakuja kupitisha itakuwa zimechelewa. So implementing the projects za wananchi wa kawaida zitakuwa zimechelewa. For example, you have roads. Ukisikia all over the country saizi kumenyesha, barabara zimeharibika. We need people, we need this money ili iende kwa ground isaidie hizo barabara ambazo zimeharibika. Lakini ikichelewa sio ni kuzumanisha mwananchi ataendelea kuumia. Those are the challenges we are having. And some of the other major challenges ni kama vile hospitali. Kuna pesa ambazo za health ambazo zinastahili kupeanwa kwa health. Ikiwa budget haitapita, kesho utaenda hospitali unaambiwa hakuna dawa. Kesho utapata madaktari wanagoma kwa sababu there is no salary, kwa sababu budget ya mshahara haikupita. Kesho major areas will be affected na hii hali ya hii mgomo ambao wanasema kwamba sisi hatutafanya kazi. Major areas will be affected.
Kwa majina naitwa Damaris. Mimi ni mkaji wa Nakuru. Mimi naona MCA waridhike na pesa wamepewa. Juu wenyewe hadi kwa mfuko yetu bado sisi hatuna. Sasa wakisema waongezewe na inatoka kwa mifuko yetu, tutatoa zingine wapi? Ni waridhike chenye wako nayo. MCA nilimuona siku ya election akiniomba kura peke yake. Sijaimuona tena. Anafaa kuwa kwa ground akishughulika na chenye tunahitaji. Kama barabara ajue ni wapi kumeharibika, kama ni wafanyikazi anaenda kututetea kwa bunge.
Kwa majina naitwa Mwanda Steven, msemaji wa bodaboda katika kaunti ya Nakuru. SRC walifanya makosa kama bado miezi michache kielekea uchaguzi kupunguza mshahara ya MCA. MCA ndio first responder katika ground. Kazi ile majukumu wanafanya ni mengi sana. So kulikuwa na makosa wakati walipunguza mshahara wao. Sababu ukiangalia saa hii CAS SRC imeongeza mshahara. So walitumia criteria gani kuongeza CAS mshahara? CAS ni kama assistant minister ameongezwa mshahara. Mbona ukate huyu ambaye ni mtu elected? Hiyo ni makosa walifanya because mimi sioni majukumu CAS yanaenda kufanya ikiwa makubwa kuliko ile yenye MCA anafanya. MCA amechaguliwa na wananchi, ule ni appointiwa president. So hapo walifanya makosa kuwakata mshahara, naunga mkono sana waweze kurudishwa mshahara wao mahali ilikuwa ifikishwe kiwango nitakana. Because tuwezi kuwa na Kenya wengine wanaongezwa mshahara na Kenya wengine wanapunguzwa. Ndio gharama ya maisha kwa juu kusema ukweli. Lakini lazima kukuwe na kitu inaitwa equality. Hapa kukuwa na equality yote. Because they are elected, let them get their salary. Mimi nimetoka Ronda Ward na Nakuru West Sub County. Na MCA wangu amejaribu kuimplement zile ongoing projects zilikuwa. Unajua pesa inatoka kwa executive. Kazi ya MCA ni oversight. Lakini pia lazima aende hata kama anafanya kazi oversight, apush the governor. Ya kwamba kuna miradi ambazo zinahusu watu kwangu, lazima zifanyike. Saizi tuko na vijana wengi ambao wameweza kupelekwa training ya computer. So naona ni pesa inatoka kwa executive. Yes, kuna wengine wanangoja waende driving school. Kule drainage zinatengenezwa, unajua maji imekuwa ikitusumbua sana. Yes, huko kunatengenezwa polytechnic, TVET. MCA kusitisha utendakazi wao, kutoenda bunge. Wamesimamisha shughuli yote ya county government because hakuna expenditure governor anaweza tumia kama hajapita county assembly. Pia sheria za county zinatengenezwa na county assembly. So mimi ningeomba MCA waweze kufikiria, sababu saizi tuko na financial bill ya county ambayo lazima wapitishe ndio county iweze kumove. So naona ni kama county imekuwa cripple, yes fanya chochote bila MCA kurudi waende wapitishe hiyo finance bill. Yes.
Hakuna haja ya kuongeza mshahara. Sababu wao wanalilia hiyo mingi. Sio ni mshahara yenye wanapewa. Lakini ya development iko kando yenye huwa wanagawiwa. So hii imewatosha already. Imewatosha. Sababu ya development iko kando, hii ni mshahara yenye anakula. So hiyo imemtosha na hafai kupewa ingine. Juu hata wenye kama sasa hawa wakongwe wanapataka 2,000. Si huwa wanaitumia. Halafu si huwa wanaitumia. Hii yao ni mingi zaidi watumia hiyo. So hakuna kitu wanaadhiri kwa mwananchi wa kawaida. Sababu vile mwananchi wa kawaida huwa anajitafutia, hivyo tu ndio anaendelea kujitafutia. Hajitafutii sababu ya hawa wakubwa, anajitafutagia kivyake.
Mimi jina yangu ni Eunice Mushoki. Mimi na oppose MCA wasiongezewe mshahara kwa sababu wakiongezewa mshahara tena sisi ndio tutapigwa tax. na tayari maisha imekuwa juu kwa sababu ya hii financial bill. Kwa hivyo mimi sitaki hata kidogo waongezeo, waridhike na yenye wanapeo. Tena huko ndani wako na marupurupu mingi sana. Lakini MC wangu amenifanyia kazi. Hata juzi hapa kwangu kulikuwa na shimo na amenitengenezea vizuri sana. Kwa hivyo hiyo ni pongezi. Lakini sitaki waongezeo mshahara.
Waridhike tu na yenye walikuwa wanaendea. Juu uchumi ni ngumu kwa kila mtu. Hata sisi tungetaka hizo mataxes zireduciwe ndio at least maisha ikuwe rahisi kwa kila mtu. Sasa wao wakipewa peke yao si vizuri. Wasiongezewe.
Niongezwe tu mshahara. Unajua labda sasa hiyo mtu kitu ya kusababisha asifanye kazi labda ni pesa. Pesa, usipokuwa na pesa hata wewe mwenyewe huwezi tembea. Lakini sasa akiongezewa atatembea mahali pale hivyo ona yuko sawa, anatengeza kitu.
Na mimi naonelea hao watu kama wanaweza ongezea mshahara, lakini wafanye kazi bila walipromise iko sawa. Lakini waache mambo ya corruption. Kwa sababu pesa zinakuja na pesa zinapotelea kwa mifuko zao. Wameweka kwa account zao, sisi hata hatuoni kazi yenye wanafanya. Na wako na mshahara kubwa sana. Sasa mimi kitu yenye naomba tu MCA afanye kazi. Hata akiongezea mshahara, no problem. Lakini kazi ionekane yenye amefanya. Hata sijaona kitu yenye amefanya tangu achakuliwe, hata simuonangi. Lakini naomba tu aongezee mshahara labda ndio aonekane. Labda ni pesa ndio ana ya kutembea ama ya kuweka gari mafuta. Kwa hivyo acha aongezee mshahara ndio atufikie sisi wananchi wa kawaida wenye tulimchagua.
Mangicho and Paul Kagi, those are the opinions of Kenyans concerning the decisions of MCS shutting down counties. Most of the Kenyans are saying that MCS should not shut down counties, but instead they should engage SRC in order to find out the lasting solution concerning the salary issues. As per now, most counties have shut down their counties, including county of Nakuru, Kajiado, Laikipia, and Mandera, among other counties. Reporting for MBCI TV, Mid-Morning Park, my name is Vincent Kimutai.
Thank you so much, our reporter there, Vincent Kimutai, getting the opinions of Kenyans on what they think about the current quagmire happening in the county assemblies, the push and forth between the county assemblies and also the SRC. Mheshimiwa, what have you picked from what Kenyans are saying?
One is that let the right information ifikie watu.
Yes. Number one, it is a reinstatement.
What we are asking for is a reinstatement.
You're not asking
for the worst thing that happened, when the circular came, and the circular came to reducing the salary, the assembly budget is still the same. We call them ceilings. Yes. So our ceiling still remains the same as an assembly. But now what has happened, what was supposed to be recurrent, remember each and every law is supposed to be paid differently. So if at all we had money that is meant for legislative work will go to the committee work services. It is the one that tells me that registration, that if I want to have a registration in this assembly, I have first of all to go to the people, so that I ask what is aiding my constituents, so that I bring it as a bill so that it will be done. Therefore, what has happened is that the city still remains the same. The MCA salary is still in the assembly. We are not asking even a penny from the treasury. Nothing. The money is within the assembly.
Yes.
Unaona hawa watu walikuwa ni wambaya. Because what they did, they brought the circular without affecting the budgetary allocation for each and every county. And that's why we have seen that we have indicated here different scenarios how an MCA should be paid. And I will show you later so that our mwananchi will get the scenarios that we are having. My friend, if you look at the scenarios that we are having, and we are saying that this money is in the assembly. Now, what the speaker now is doing in the board, because the money is there, and the money, if you don't use the money, it elapses.
Okay.
So what has happened is what was supposed to be recurring to pay the MCAs, in terms of plenary, in terms of mileage, it is now being converted to budget expenditure.
So your money is taken somewhere else?
It will. You see, now you have to take the vote here. Because hii pesa ilikuwa ya kukulipa. Na wale serikali imesema usilipwe, ulipwe nusu, Unaona, sijui umeona ukatili ambao iko. Ulipwe nusu, sasa vile inafanyika is that the management of the assembly is doing, ukienda pale assembly, hii assembly yetu hapa, it is beautiful than the Senate. Because there is a lot of money that was supposed to be paid different members, and yet now the money, because it's not being paid, and it will lapse, it is being used.
So it is erroneous for those Kenyans who think that whatever you are agitating for is going to be bad.
Including the deputy president. Yes. He is not aware. And yet he is the one in charge of devolution. We are not telling the treasury to add a cent. What we are saying is that the money is within
so,
our budget.
Mheshimiwa, do you think therefore the office of the member of county assembly, why is it getting all of these, or why is it's like it's so much despised, it's so much being looked down upon? Do you think this is a threat to devolution?
It is, and that's why we are saying that when we went to elections, the person who, in actually sent the person who mobilizes for even the president to get votes, this is a raw member called the MCA. Because we are many, we mobilize, and then the elections are successful. Therefore, after we cross the river, somebody has decided to sell the bridge for scrap metal. And that's why we are saying that if you get shocked. Let me put you a journey of misery of a member of county assembly. The president is paid 443. That's what the president gets. Then the governor of the county gets 924,000. The parliamentary speakers, they are paid to be 1.1. That is 1,160,000. The deputy speakers are paid 928. They are paid more than the governor of the county. The leaders of majority, when you see Ishongwa talking a lot, he is pocketing 768,000 as a majority, and the minority leader.
They get the same amount.
Yeah.
They get the same amount, eh?
They get the same amount because the office is the same.
Yeah.
Then, if you get the member of MP, sasa huyo mbuke sasa kama hapa, he is getting 710. There is a scientific formula of arriving at this amount. If you get that 1.4 million that the president is getting is 100%, then parliamentary speakers are getting 80%. The two speakers. Then the 80% of the money that the president earns. If you go to deputy speakers, they earn 68% of the president. If you go to leaders of majority, they earn 53%. What about the member of...
the margin is very slim between those.
Parliamentarians get 49% of the president. Therefore, what we will come after we have get the restatement, we are saying that this formula ought to be used in the county assemblies, making sure that the governor is our president. If the governor is getting 924,000, then it means that that the speaker should get 80% of what the governor is earning. Then the MCAs should be getting 49% of what the governor is earning.
But is it easy you are getting?
Now we are getting
of what the governor
what now we are getting. Let me now show you. What we are getting of the governor's salary, that the speaker is getting 56. The deputy speaker is getting 21.9%. The members, both the majority and the minority, and the members of county assembly, they are only getting 15.6% of the person that they are supposed to oversight. 15.5%.
Yes.
And then you tell me, and that's why, if we want devolution to work in this country, because that's where now we are. If we want
and the place of MCAs in ensuring the devolution work, because it's like some people think that without you devolution can still work.
Let me tell you, you cannot have devolution working with quacks. You cannot have devolution acting with the people who are cognitively challenged. You are bringing a fool in the devolved unit, that is the assembly, to make a law that will govern these millions that the executive is getting. Even the person to get a slight understanding of the budget and the budget cycle, a person who failed in Form 4 cannot get a good explanation of what a budget ought to be. And remember, the budget has cycles. What will normally happen? And that's why I am really shocked. Because other than Kenya developing, we will still degenerate into poverty. What is happening is this, that if you get the 47 devolved unit, the 47, the assemblies are supposed to look into individual wards and their individual problems. Okay. And then you registrate on the individual problems. Okay. If you look what was happening from when we got independence, is that when we got independence and when we clamored for the 2010 constitution, rather than now clamoring for resource, devolved resources, we clamored for devolved power. That's why if you look in 1965, when we had the sectional paper number 10, what happened is that the president was supposed to be felt. That's why Moi was supposed to be felt, even when you are sleeping under your bed. You are supposed to know that Moi is the president of the nation. Yeah. Because what happened is that the DCs were supposed to be heading development. Therefore, during that particular time, wakati kulikuwa na hizi makajos, you are supposed to get a kajo, and then you sent a representative here in Nakuru, because Nakuru was the district headquarters by then, isn't it? Okay. Therefore, this DC is supposed to coordinate the DO and the chiefs. So the chiefs would come with the year, and then they had what was called the District Development Committee. Inaitwa DDC. And then the person who was in charge was called the DDO, District Development Officer. Therefore, there was the DDO Agriculture, DDO Roads, DDO whatever. So this one, when now we decided to democratize the what now was provincial commission. This provincial hierarchy. The DC now is the governor. Yeah. This one now was the district headquarters. It is, the person in charge was the DC in terms of development. The DDO now are the CCs. The CC Agriculture is supposed to the District Development Officer. Okay? So we democratized the whole structure of provincial administration. Yes. And we forgot that the resources.
So, Mheshimiwa, just because of time, and I think today, I know you've really helped our viewer today to understand exactly the context of the welfare of the MCs. But as we speak right now, so what is happening? What are your efforts? What is it like in the process of trying maybe even to make to reach maybe the executive, the national executive, to get into this matter?
We are saying there was somebody called Kipling, who did 19 something to do with 1885, who said that the person who made Africa and Asian countries to be colonized, he said that it was the white man's burden. Yeah, it was the white man's burden to make sure that he educates the half devil, half child. You know, if you remember that theory, he came up with the issue of half child, half devil. That Africans were half child and the Africans were half devil. And it was the burden of the whites to make sure that they make us fool. You know, and they remove us from the devil's architecture. Therefore, what is happening? It is now our responsibility as members seated to make sure that devolution does not die. Because devolution is dying. What is happening? Just see. Turkana, 10 years down the line, and you know, what is happening is that we have the 15% equal share. Then we have, after this one equal share, we have the persons that make sure that the equality, making sure that each and every county in a pattern is zingine.
You're saying devolution is dying.
Devolution is dying.
Are you concerned? Maybe
that's why,
are the other stakeholders also concerned?
Now we want
the governor,
to make them
for example, as a governor of Nakuru.
That's why now
I want about this particular matter.
That's why now I want you to bring to the attention that the devolution is now dying. If you kill the soldiers of devolution, that is an MCA from the world, who will come here and registrate on behalf of his or her constituent. If you want to not pay this person, you know that person cannot be able to travel to come to here for 4 days. That person will not be able, you cannot come here and then you don't even eat. You see, that's why we are saying that the 47 entities make Kenya. For Kenya to develop, then counties must develop. For Kenya to develop, we must have governors who are akin to what is happening in the wards and what is happening in the county. Currently, what is happening, we are having even governors who have no knowledge of whatever they are leading. Somebody was a CS in Nairobi, was grown there. Na yule mtu pengine alipata kwa sababu alizaliwa hapa. Lakini knows nothing about Naivasha East, for example. And then it is me now to make that governor who is naive know that what Naivasha East requires. Wewe anaangalia the capital project kama vile tulikuwa tunaangalia last time, tuweke uwanja wa ndege kwa jeshi, tuweke hospitali kubwa ambayo haina dawa, something like that. Mega project that is taking a lot of money. Ask yourself, why is it that 10 years down the line ng'ombe za Turkana zingali zinakufa vile zilikuwa zinakufa 1980?
With the devolution.
Just ask yourself.
With the county government in place.
With the county government in place. And they should know that the economic activity is what?
Is cattle.
Is cattle. Therefore, what should that MCA do in that area? Make sure that the money that he or she gets drinks water. Okay? That's a mitigation. In that unit called ward. Therefore, if we want to develop this Kenya, we must start with the ward. And if you want to develop Kenya, you must start with somebody who is enlightened in the world.
So had you exhausted other avenues before you decided to shut down the county assembly?
That's we know what we have done. I told you.
Because some Kenyans think it was not the right move.
No.
And you are setting a bad precedent.
No, we are ahead.
Because it's like you're going the Mandamano way.
They will catch with us. they will come. They will still be with us. By the time we are living here, we will be together. See, what has happened is that the assembly is operating halfway. Because there is what is called the assembly works in the committees. Committees are on. What is not on is the plenary. Okay. The plenary is where we have all the non-members. Because we have committees for agriculture, it must oversight what is happening in agriculture. It must oversight what is happening elsewhere in the money that is being used. But now the plenary resolves, it is the resolve of the whole house, that whatever the committee has come up with is now a resolution of the house. So what we are doing is that we have decided that plenary was being paid.
Yeah.
Allowances, that was zile kulikuwa nasikia zinaitwa sitting allowance.
Right.
If you look at the SRC, when they sit, they pay themselves 8,000. When an MCA sits, he sits in the way. You are not paid. What has happened when I told you that the car that I do have is a road. The house that I have is a road. But even the deal, guo ni za serikali. Kofia asipate nini ya serikali. Hiyo kofia unaonaga DC na si ya serikali. Bought by the taxpayers money. Paka guo, paka kiatu ni ya alafu anapatiwa gari ya GK na mafuta ya GK. Mimi nafanya the same job. I'm not given uniform. I'm not being given, hakuna kitu ninapewa. Nyumba ni unaona hiyo gari ni road. Alafu hiyo road gari ndio inatembea the whole world. By the time 5 years are over, utakuwa hauna gari na pengine utolewe na raia. So that's why currently hata hapa tuna MCA ambaye alipata accident na sasa kuna mchago inaendelea na nifikirie yuko hapa alikuwa hapa akapata accident. Right now anachagisha pesa because he has no money. We had an MCA ambaye yuko hapa juu. Alingolewa, by the time alingolewa hakuwa na kitu. Right now anachipa kaburi hapa. We have an MCA alihama, unajua sasa mimi ndiye secretary general wa MCAs in Kenya. Therefore I can give you scenarios ambayo nimeletewa kuna MCA.
Does it also mean that you are now incapacitated in terms of delivering to your voters?
Yeah, that's why we are doing whatever we are doing. This is the cry of a commoner. You know, the MCA ndiye yuko hapa chini. Shida yote. Na unajua MCA akikosa hata hizo pesa tunaitisha. Hata raia itaramika. I'm telling you, acha nikupatie mheshimiwa anaitwa Palanga. Palanga yuko Olkaria. Olkaria, unaona ni setup ya maua ama Virginia. Huyu nimekuonyesha huyu Virginia analipwa 18,000. Watu wake ndio wako hapo. Wakati mtu akifariki pale kwa sababu ni slums. Mtu anapelekwa Western. Kupeleka mtu Western sasa akifariki. Si unajua ni pesa ngapi? Wote kwa sababu hakuna pesa wanakuja kwa Palanga. Tupelekee nani? Mtu wetu amefariki. Kuna wakati alikuwa na 10, hata anawauliza sasa hata ni sisi tulikuwa tunasaidia. To ferry the cops to Busia and the rest kwa sababu wao ni watu wa maua. Sasa niambie huyo MCA na hana pesa, si atapata devolution, si atapata depression. So what we are suffering now, and I'm telling you, na ndiposa mimi nimeamua kuongea. That's why I'm the secretary general ya MCA and they are suffering. I'm telling you, the person pengine ndipo tunasema hii serikali ilikuwa ya bottom up. But when you go to up, don't forget the bottom. Because it's the bottom that is making you to stay up there. Therefore, what we are saying, if devolution is not taken care of, devolution itakufa.
Mheshimiwa, have you tried this option? As we are aware, Deputy President is very powerful and very influential. How about if you, as members of County Assembly, you book a sitting with him to be able to openly discuss this matter and see whether he can be able to pursue it?
Or you've tried and it is not?
Let me tell you, historically there is something called balance of power. I think you have read a book called Balance of Power. When you are taking the issue of balance of power politically, presidency is in the ikona wabunge. Ndiposa unaona kama sasa hili finance builipite. Si unaona wabunge wanawipiwa. Wabunge, they are very close to the presidency. Because hata budget wanapitisha ya nini hata hizi vitu. Si unaona? Therefore, mbunge will be able to be listened to easily than a member of county assembly. Because we can only be listened to the governor. Therefore, what has happened, the balance of power dictates this way. That most MCA hapa, kuna MCA alitoka hapa akangoa Chebo, anaitwa Chebo, yule alikuwa deputy speaker. Sikuna mbaye hapa karibu angoe. There is now the tug of war between the members of National Assembly.
Most of the MPs are
and the Senate. The only people who are sympathizing with them are the senators.
Yes.
But the MPs, I am tell you, and I'm very sure, they are the ones giving the deputy president wrong information. They are the ones. Because we are saying that we get the World Development Kit. The World Development Kit, we are supposed to develop the words. If we develop the word, if at all you are an MCA in A and B, and we are in the same constituency, if we come together, it means we can come up with an industry.
Yes.
A cottage industry. Therefore, we resolve the issue kama ni kwetu, we can come up ya kusiaga maharagwe na cabbages, meaning we can bring the pana food back.
Yes.
Because we will put our resources together because we are together. Because sisi tunakaa hapa mashinani. If you are empowered, it means that you will affect the balance of power ya mbunge ambaye anakujaga weekend. Therefore, the war that you are seeing here is more than what the common mwananchi is seeing. And that's why you are seeing reduce mshahara ya watu. Wasiende kwa raia. Wasipoenda kwa raia hawatachaguliwa. Currently, less than 2% of MCAs come back.
Yes. So
less than 2%.
As we speak, Mheshimiwa, so yes. Who do you think now has the final say or the final word to unlock this quagmire?
We have tried to, one, the SRC is...
In 30 seconds, Mheshimiwa, because...
the SRC is an independent commission.
Yes.
We have sought the input by educating them. Rather than now using the formula that they were using, they used the formula that is that we have shown.
Okay.
But now the problem that we are now facing is that we wanted to see the president.
Yes.
So that the president will show. We wanted the deputy president. That's why we are calling the deputy president.
Yes.
To call all the MCAs. So that, because he's the one in charge of devolution, so that we talk. And then...
And until that happens...
Until that happens...
The county assemblies will remain shut.
They will remain, you know, even a dog is made to balance by the tail.
Yes.
That tail that you see makes the dog to have a balance. Our tail is the assembly. For us to remain afloat, let us also make sure that the tail also, kama ni kukata mkia, ili executive ya kukawacha tukate.
Thank you so much, Jacinta. Yes. Destiny watching from Nyeri County. Thank you so much for saying your comment there. Mwangi Wairago, great job. Lucian Samison, I've also seen your comment there. Quite a number of comments coming here, thick and fast, but because of time, we have to bring it to a stop at this particular point. But Mheshimiwa Stanley Karanja, member of County Assembly for Naivasha East in Nakuru County, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
That has been a candid explanation, and I think our viewer now knows the context of why the county assemblies are shut.
I'm also very happy because explaining some of this issue is really hard, and you have seen.
Yes.
But we are saying, and the government should know, we do not want a single cent from Treasury. We have our money.
Okay.
Just bring the circular. According to the formula that we have given, counties, assembly will be able to reorganize themselves.
And will you also defend other Kenyans who are also feeling maybe they applied in terms maybe of their salaries is also not being taken care of?
Will
we also see the same kind of
what is happening,
energy?
What is happening is that they are killing the messenger. Yes. This is now the messenger.
This is what you've been doing.
If you kill the messenger, then that information will not get, because if I don't get the money to come to the assembly here, then whatever now you are saying, I say, yes. I cannot say it. And you know, see, sasa si kama ile zamani ya tulikuwa tunakimbia. Unaona? So we need to make sure that we empower the messenger, we empower the member of county assembly with representative for us to have a robust democracy and for us to have development. And for this person, you know, if you have nothing, maskini akipata mataka uliyapata. So what normally happens is that if you deny the county assembly member, pesa zitapotea kwa executive.
Thank you so much,
because that person will be a captive of the executive.
You have to bring it to a stop at that particular point. Thank you so much. What a candid conversation we've been having here. At least now you know what is it that is making our members of county assemblies to shut down the county assemblies in this push and forth between them and the SRC. Now it is you to make the judgment. Thank you so much for having time to be with us in today's show. On behalf of the entire crew that has made this program a success, my name is Mangicho Mola. We'll see you next week. Have a blessed day.
Yes, I want to thank you for finding time to be able to follow us, and I believe this morning you have been more enlightened. My name is Paul Kagi. I wish you a blessed day ahead.